The Hallstatt culture represents the dominant Western and Central European culture of the early Iron Age. This period marked the transition from the use of bronze to the widespread adoption of iron for tools and weapons. The full span of the Hallstatt culture dates from approximately 1200 BCE to 450 BCE. The period is traditionally divided into four main archaeological phases: Hallstatt A, B, C, and D. The term Hallstatt culture is used synonymously with the concept of a Hallstatt era in European prehistory. The name is derived from a rich archaeological site located in the Salzkammergut region of Upper Austria. The Hallstatt A and B phases are associated with the late Bronze Age Urnfield culture. During these earlier phases, the primary burial rite involved cremation and placing ashes in urns. Hallstatt C and D phases mark the actual early Iron Age, typically dating from around 800 to 450 BCE. This shift saw a change in burial practices towards inhumation, where entire bodies were interred. The culture developed out of the preceding Urnfield culture at the end of the Bronze Age. This transition around 800 BCE led to significant social and technological changes across the region. The geographical area of the Hallstatt culture extended from eastern France to western Hungary and from the Alps to central Poland. This vast region included various politically independent local groups connected by shared material culture and trade networks. The culture is often called a Proto-Celtic culture due to significant cultural similarities with later Celtic peoples. Many scholars believe the people of the Hallstatt period were the first identifiable Celtic groups. The Hallstatt economy was largely based on farming, with most people engaged in agriculture. They grew crops like wheat, barley, and oats, and raised livestock such as sheep, goats, and cows. Salt mining was a defining and highly profitable economic activity for the core Hallstatt region. The mines at Hallstatt, some extending 400 meters deep, were essential for producing the white gold used for food preservation and trade. The abundance of salt led to the excellent preservation of organic materials within the mines. This has provided archaeologists with rare finds like leather shoes, textiles, wooden tools, and even food remains, offering unique insight into daily life. The Hallstatt people were extensively involved in long-range trade networks across Europe. These routes connected them with Mediterranean cultures, leading to the import of luxury goods like wine and fine pottery. They exported local resources, primarily salt, tin, and copper, in exchange for these valuable foreign items. This control over trade routes facilitated the development of a strong local economy and powerful elite classes. The culture played a pivotal role in spreading iron technology and Celtic traditions throughout Europe. Their trade interactions fostered a shared linguistic and material identity across diverse groups. The Hallstatt culture's decline around 500 to 450 BCE coincided with local resource depletion and shifts in major trade routes. Rival trading centers emerged elsewhere, particularly those associated with the rising Tène culture. The society was characterized by a clear trend towards social stratification and the emergence of elite classes. Social distinctions became increasingly important, with powerful chieftains and warriors leading the communities. The elites concentrated power in fortified hilltop settlements, often referred to as seats of power or Fürstensitz. Examples include sites like the Hühnberg in Germany. Most settlements were generally small, with the majority of people living in small farming communities. Houses were typically round, constructed with mud and twigs for walls and pointed thatched roofs. Within the hill forts, a central fire provided warmth and a place to cook using cauldrons. Jars around the walls were used for storing food, and people often slept on straw covered with animal skins. The Hallstatt people were a tribal society, though the exact political structure of these independent groups is not fully understood. It is believed they lived in clans that belonged to larger tribes ruled by warrior kings. The development of a class society replaced earlier tribal systems and led to more organized political structures and trade. Power was not held exclusively by elites, as the power of the non-elite majority may have been visible in some contexts. Warriors held a significant place in society, protecting their people and engaging in combat when necessary. The Hallstatt period introduced advances in weapon-making technology, including iron swords and daggers. The average life expectancy during the Iron Age, including the Hallstatt period, was relatively low, often around 25 years. This short lifespan was likely due to disease, conflict, and the inherent dangers of manual labor like mining. The Hallstatt people might have played board games for entertainment. Glass game pieces have been found in some burial sites, suggesting leisure activities were part of their culture. The culture is known for its sophisticated metalworking, creating elaborate items in bronze, gold, and iron. Artisans were highly skilled, and their work influenced art styles across wide regions. Hallstatt art is generally characterized by a severe geometric style. Designs often focused on rigid symmetry and abstract representations rather than naturalistic depictions. A typical bird motif, likely derived from Italian influences, was common in their artwork. Plant patterns, however, were relatively rare in their decorative schemes. Pottery was often painted with colorful and intricate designs, used for both everyday cooking and storage. These ceramics reveal a distinct artistic expression and widespread material culture uniformity. The Sicular art, originating in northeastern Italy, spread across the eastern Hallstatt province. These bronze buckets depicted ritual acts like processions, animal sacrifices, drinking rituals, and musical performances, offering glimpses into their social life. The culture produced a wide variety of ornate personal items, including brooches, ring ornaments, and elaborate girdle mounts. These items, often found in graves, indicate wealth and status distinctions. The adoption of iron as the main material for tools and weapons was a key feature of the era. Iron was more widely available and eventually cheaper to produce than bronze. Iron was used for a diverse range of items beyond weapons, including everyday objects like cooking pots and nails. The widespread use of iron led to significant advancements in technology and farming. The Hallstatt people built granaries above ground on posts to store their harvested grain. This method helped protect their food supply from pests and dampness. The culture utilized an iron plow that could open up heavier and more fertile soils for cultivation. This technological advancement likely increased agricultural productivity and supported population growth. They might have introduced other practical innovations, such as standardized tools and the rotary flour mill. These developments suggest a high level of technical skill and practical problem solving. Hallstatt metalworkers made high-quality items and were likely specialized craftspeople within the community. Their skills were a valuable trade commodity, exchanged with other groups for diverse goods. Burial practices varied between the western and eastern zones of the Hallstatt culture. The differences often reflected local traditions and regional influences. Rich grave goods were commonly buried with the deceased, especially among the elite classes. These items, including fine jewelry, bronze vessels, and weapons, indicate a belief in an afterlife and the importance of social status. Elaborate burial mounds, known as tumuli or barrows, were constructed as final resting places for important individuals. These prominent mounds served as visible markers in the landscape, indicating the wealth and power of the family or clan. The transition to inhumation, full-body burial, in the Iron Age periods, C and D, is a notable shift from the earlier cremation practices. This change may suggest an evolution in their religious beliefs or understanding of the afterlife. In some rituals, sophisticated combinations of pottery depositions and infant burial were used, creating narratives about life and death. The placement of objects in graves served as a nonverbal language about fertility, decay, and existence. The presence of imported Mediterranean wine and drinking vessels in elite graves suggests a strong drinking culture or specific ritual practices involving alcohol. These goods were prestige items used to display status. The art depicted on Sicily often showed ritual scenes, including processions and animal sacrifices. These images provide rare visual evidence of their religious and ceremonial lives. The Hallstatt people had complex views on life and death, as evidenced by the care and effort put into their funerary monuments and rituals. They believed in the necessity of honoring their ancestors after death. The burial sites, especially the extensive cemetery at Hallstatt, have been crucial for modern archaeological understanding of the culture. The site has provided the majority of the artifacts that define the era. The Hallstatt culture set the groundwork for the subsequent and more urbanized Tène culture. Many of the social structures and technologies developed during the Hallstatt period were expanded upon by their successors. The transition to the Tène culture occurred around 450 BCE, partly due to the shift in trade routes and political power. A new elite emerged in the Middle Rhine area, with different artistic styles and practices. Modern archaeological discoveries are still revealing new information about the Hallstatt people. Researchers continue to explore burial sites and mine workings to understand their complex societies. The Hallstatt-Dachstein-Salzkammergut region is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The site is recognized globally for its exceptional location and its immense contribution to human history due to the ancient salt mines. The legacy of the Hallstatt culture is evident in the technological advancements and social foundations that influenced later Central and Northern European civilizations. Their innovations in iron use, trade, and social organization shaped the future of the continent.